Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're bringing you a gameplay of
Bestiary of Sigillum.
And this is actually a really interesting skirmish game that we've been digging into. Wes, there is a pile of other characters over there that we could have grabbed and could have started playing through.
There's a total of 27 different characters available currently.
I'm just saying, I not only dig the artwork, the style, the aesthetic. This is my type of
It's 100% your type of artwork as well.
I'm so into it. But then on top of that, it's got a really compelling skirmish game puzzle. So stay tuned if abstract skirmish mixed with like high-powered fantasy is something that sounds appealing to you.
Mm-hmm. Every single one of these is different. All three of the abilities that are listed on all of these cards are completely different than the other abilities listed on other cards.
Yeah, everything
is asymmetric. It's crazy.
West, please hand me the rulebook as you start telling the humans about what this game is, what it does, and why you should put it in your mouth.
The game board does look rather tasty.
Delicious.
Very delicious.
The most delicious.
So this is a true, in a sense, area control game because you are looking to control as much space on the board as possible in certain zones. There is your castle here in the center section, but then there are also these catapult areas on the sides, and whoever controls the catapult gets to fire it off at the end of their turn, doing damage to the opponent's castle.
The object is to rip apart your opponent's castle. How do you actually succeed by doing that? Well, you'll be firing the catapults or taking out your opponent's minions, which will cause them to respawn and also ingratiate you with more and more victory points.
Damage, but yes.
You know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's basically the game. It is do as much damage as we can to each other using the special abilities that we have. Each of us has a primary ability that allows us either to move one hex or to do an attack. Then we have secondary abilities, which will be set off on cooldowns. Each one of them has a special, each secondary ability is something completely different from all of the other characters out there. Once you use your secondary ability, you will set it on the cooldown tracker. If this cooldown had, say, been 4 is the round, it takes 4 rounds for the cooldown to be over, you set it on the number 4, and then at the first player's turn, you advance it 1 space, and then that all the ones that would be next to the arrows would come off the board, and we begin, now it's a 3 cooldown for that one that we just placed down. So at the end of 4 rounds, that ability will be available for you again.
I actually really like the little swivel cooldown system that's in here.
I think it's ingenious.
It feels really cool to use and makes a ton of sense when you actually have it up and running, and allows us to trigger a ton of variable asymmetric powers with the probably most clear, direct version I have ever seen of the refresh chart happening.
Absolutely. And there are things within this that allow you to manipulate that as well, certain characters.
If you're game designers out there, like, that's something to steal.
That's very cool.
I'm just saying. Yeah. It just is. It's just good. You know, you just run into it. By the way, Quackalope here.
Flavor text it is.
Getting back to our roots. We believe in flavor text. We stand by flavor text, and we read flavor text, West.
Always with the flavor text.
It's a thing we do. King Equilibrius passed away and the Dark Ages began. The world of Sigillum had never seen such chaos before. Driven by greed and desire for absolute power, the continents for the throne, contestants, for there's a dash there. I've never claimed to be good at reading flavor text. I'm just confident when I do so. The contestants for the throne unleashed a war in the kingdom of two castles, following the orders of the two opposed. West, I'm struggling.
Opposing leaders, thousands of warriors fought fiercely, and next, their demise at the...
It's not a next, it's a met. It's a met.
Yes.
I'm starting back from the beginning.
Let's try one more time. It's also in a funky text, like a font.
King
Equilibrius.
King Equilibrius passed away and the Dark Ages began. The world of Sigillum had never seen such chaos before. Driven by greed and the desire for absolute power, the contestants for the throne unleashed a war in the kingdom of the two castles. Following the orders of the two opposing leaders, thousands of warriors fought fiercely and met their demise at the impregnable castle walls. Many cycles passed, and no one emerged victorious. But once the leaders heard the legend of a mysterious magic book that could be used to summon mighty, otherworldly warriors, they become obsessed with the idea of finding it. That book was called The Bestiary of Sigillum. It was written by the Almighty, Archmage Gotium. He created a detailed description of spirit summoning rituals using special symbols. When Gotium realized that his manuscript might become a dangerous weapon for the wrong hands, he tried to destroy it but failed. The pages covered with magic lines seemed to be protected from damage. Gotium scattered his manuscript and hid the pages in the world of Sigillum, hoping that his work would never be found. But given enough time, even the most hidden secrets are revealed. Not long ago, the last page of the magic book was discovered on the lower floors of Lecadus Library, and now, the power that has been locked up for centuries is ready to be released on the battlefields of Sigillum. Are you able to take control of it? That's good flavor text.
That's good flavor text.
I'm in even more.
Very, very good flavor text.
Because I understand why I have like these sketchy style drawings, like the outlines of the creatures, the abilities, the different symbols that we're using to summon them onto the battlefield, and why it's formatted in a book with like adorable little bookmarks and like the sections that you're actually calling for. Let's talk about our teams, West.
That does.
Let's talk about our teams.
Yes, so we had many different options available to us. We actually all chose to make this a battle of speed. So we all have agility types of the
units.
Competitors, units, whatever you want to call.
Beasts.
I don't know that they want to be called units. Is that really what you call? And it's the bestiary, so it's not. They're not beasts, but mine are beasts. I have a gargoyle, a wolf man, and a vampire. I feel like that's a pretty great place to start.
I have a master of the ballista, an ocean elemental, and a master of time. So the way my units are going to be able to operate is you're going to have your standard action, which is going to be their attack action, and then you're going to have two specialized actions that have a cooldown cycle. Your attack action can either be used as a movement, single movement forward, unless you have other rules that break that, or an attack, unless you happen to have this symbol right here, which is going to be the symbol that allows you a trait called Swiftness. Swiftness lets you use it as both an attack and a damage, or a damage and an attack. So my Master of Ballista here is going to have a standard ranged attack where I do better damage the farther away you are from me.
Yes, because if you're right next to me, you do 0.
Then I'm going to have the Optical Sight and the Winch. The Optical Sight is basically going to give me the opportunity to get a benefit on mountain hexes, and it's going to increase my general attack. The Winch is going to allow me to push you away from me, which in a game about swiftness and about area control around the adjacency of these different ballistas here, or catapults here, we kind of want to be able to push people away.
Yes.
Aqueous, my ocean elemental, is going to have Pouring Rain as my standard attack. That's just usually 1 damage. It's actually not too powerful.
Nope.
However, I do have some really nice movement abilities. I have Fluidity. Fluidity is going to allow me to go ahead and copy another person's positive effect, whether it's yours or my own.
It's very, very cool.
Meaning I can get more damage or extra abilities just by copying other people that are getting buffs for themselves.
Yep.
And I have Might of the Water, which allows me to dive into one of these water zones, pop back up, and hit stronger because of it. And then finally I have the Master of Time here, which kind of brings this entire unit together. This is one of the pre-built units that they have in the back of the book. I do find that you need to know a lot of the units to start building your own.
Yes.
The pre-builts have things that tie together, and I'll display that right now. So Pendulum is my basic attack. Pendulum is going to allow me to attack in an adjacent hex, and it's going to cost, it's going to do more damage for each of the supported abilities you have on cooldown.
Right.
So I can do up to 2 damage if you have both of those here onto this board.
Correct.
Chilling out.
Which is pretty awesome.
Now I have Timepiece and I have Time Loop. Timepiece is going to allow me to go ahead and I can target any enemy or ally with at least 1 support ability on cooldown. So as long as you've used one of your special abilities, I can target you.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to increase that trait, I'm going to increase the remaining cooldown for each of the enemy's target's supporting abilities by 1, or decrease them by 1 for me.
Right.
I had to read it. It's a bit... What I can do is I can fast forward time or slow down time. I can screw you or I can help me.
Exactly.
It's really important because some of these things are going to be expensive, but triggering them all together will be part of the cycle that I use.
Correct.
Then finally I have the Time Loop. Time Loop is going to let me grant Swiftness, which is going to allow me to give one of my units who's adjacent to me the ability to do both attack and move. Guess what that also does? Swiftness can be given to my Master of Ballista. My Master of Ballista can then utilize it to do a ranged attack. Then Aquas can use his ability of fluidity to go ahead and copy swiftness, which then allows him to dive into the water, pop up, and punch you in the flipping face. There's a lot of little things that tie together here that are oh so satisfying when you succeed.
Yes.
And crushing when you fail, like West will very soon. West, who are you playing and why are you playing them and why will you lose assuredly?
I don't appreciate your belief that I'm magically going to lose. I find that to be completely inappropriate.
Belief? Scientific study?
I mean, just because you always win on camera doesn't mean that I won't occasionally sneak one out.
Accurate theory of your capabilities?
So,
West,
I am moving forward.
Everyone realizes just how super awesome and handsome you are.
This is true. Everyone understands that.
No one assumes that you can have everything.
That's very fair.
I have to win games, Wes.
You do have to win something because you're not as super handsome and awesome as me. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's just the puzzle that God's given us.
Totally fair.
All right. What are you playing?
So in this particular one, instead of taking one of the pre-made ones, because I played this a few times now, I decided to dig deep into the group and find 3 different ones that I thought would be able to pair well against Jesse's team. Now, I have not done this before. I have absolutely no idea if this will work or not, but I think it's going to sound really fun. So the idea with this group is that they are very, very fast. That is the main thing that I'm looking for here is the ability to control the catapults, because I know that that's 2 damage to his castle every single turn if I can control all those things. So that was what I was focusing on here. So with Cerberus, I have the 3-headed bite, which allows me basically to attack with just one. So I can attack once, which is great, or I can move once, also very nice. I have Vehemence, which allows me to target any adjacent unoccupied hex. Oh, by the way, 3-headed bite allows me to attack all enemies next to me. So not just one, which is also very nice. But Vehemence allows me to any adjacent unoccupied hex I can maneuver only if there's at least one injured enemy on the field. I can maneuver into that area. So I can do 2 movements in one turn with him. And then Howl, which allows all enemies in adjacent hexes, they get an attack decrease of 1, which is a great way for me to debuff some stuff.
Okay.
Cornubus, he's a gargoyle, so he has the ability to nosedive. So all enemies in any hexes in a straight line can take 1 damage. So if there's people lined up, he can just hit every single one of them.
So he's kind of your range in a weird way.
Yeah. I have the ability to be a gargoyle, which allows me, as long as I'm in an adjacent hex next to one of these catapults, I have a +1 on my ability to control, which is very nice. I also have something
really frustrating
called Flight, which is any unoccupied hex in a catapult tower's control area that's not controlled by enemies in a straight line from me. I can immediately move to that location.
Holy cow.
Yeah. The last one here is Mortem, who is my vampire. He has something called Bloodlust. So any enemy in an adjacent hex, I get +1 per injured enemy within 2 hexes of him. So if he's near people who are all injured, I can do up to 3 points of damage, or up to 2 points of damage at once, basically, with that. Vampiric Drain. He himself or any ally in an adjacent hex gets vampiric attack, so he can actually heal 1 point of damage during his turn, which is very nice. And then I have Bat Swarm, so any adjacent unoccupied hex, I can move him to that targeted hex, so he basically gets a second move action.
Shall we play?
We shall play.
Let's start the game.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Fantastic. So I'm going to start here from the bottom. You'll be up at the top since you're white and I'm black.
Ooh.
Start here with this little guy. So he's going to move to here. No, he's going to move. Yes, he's going to move to here, which immediately pulls in this person.
Okay.
And this person is going to take his flight ability and put it on cooldown, so he immediately goes to 4. And he is going to take this.
Okay. Oh, man.
Actually, I kind of like... He's going to take that.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's going to go there. Do I want to do that? I feel like I want to do that. He's going to go here. It's fine. He'll be farther away. I don't know that I want to get quite that close to you this early. And then I'm going to take... That brings out my vampire. And he is going to move for 1 here. And then he's going to spend his ability here, also a 4, to move to here. And that means at the end of my turn, I now control... both of them, so I'm doing 2 points of damage to you because I'm firing off the catapults.
I cannot believe how far out your guys were able to get immediately.
Immediately. That was what I designed this group for. So we'll see how it works.
Okay. My turn. Mm-hmm. So again, I've got to do them in the hierarchy, the order that I have them here. So I'm going to step down into there. I'm going to go ahead and take a step forward. So I'm using my movement ability here with this very handsome guy. Is that the location I want to be in? I think that's the... I don't get a lot of straight lines. I'd love more straight lines in this game. Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to place down my water cryptid. I'm going to go ahead and step over to the side with him. So it's using his ability as well. And then finally, I'm going to put out my tempest. And I'm going to step over to the side with him. However, I can't do that quite yet because... I can still do that. I'm going to move over, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use Time Loop, which is going to be a cooldown of 4. So going here on this board. This is going to trigger Swiftness onto my Ballista Master. That's going to allow my Ballista Master to go ahead and fire off a shot, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add an Optical Sight, which has a cooldown of 4, unless I'm in a mountain area, which I'm not. So that's going to pop in. That'll give me an extra attack. Somebody firing a damage of 2 directly at your wolf.
Mm-hmm. Which gives him 2 points of damage.
Okay. From there, I am going to go ahead and actually, I'm going to use Winch before I do that fire. Any enemy in a hex from a straight line from Ballista, move the target 1 unoccupied hex away.
So you can move... Can absolutely move me into the castle?
Absolutely.
I believe you can.
It's an open zone.
Yep.
That has a cooldown of 4 as well. 4 is a big number for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to be doing 3 damage to you.
Which does kill him.
Which is enough to kill you.
Yep, so it does 1 point of damage to my castle.
Which means you will actually respawn at the top of the round directly at the castle. So you're going to be in the same spot, but I like the early game kill. I like I like the visual of just a bolt directly through your chest.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to be suffering bad to your castle damage coming from the other things. Mm-hmm. I am going to go ahead and play Fluidity, which is going to allow me cooldown of 3 here, so it's a little bit nicer. And what this is going to allow me to do is I'm going to be able to copy the trait that I have with my Master of Ballista. That's going to give me the positive trait of Swiftness.
Yep.
So I can use this for an attack. I can't get adjacent to you, can I?
No.
I can't get adjacent to you. Then there's no value in doing that.
There isn't.
Oh, man.
That was the reason why I didn't go there. For that exact reason. I didn't want you to be able to touch me.
I'm not going to copy that positive trait then. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and use Might of the Waters, which also has a cooldown of 3. I'll pop into this location, so I'm at least contesting you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's... No, I'm going to go ahead and use Timepiece as well. This is going to be a cooldown of 3, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on my Ballista, which allows me to cycle all of my Ballista forward by 1.
Okay.
So, because I've used all of those, I actually get to take these 2 pieces, and these 2 pieces are now in the 3 zone as well.
I really don't like that.
But I've expended...
everything. Almost everything.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we would look at the castles, or the catapults. You don't have control over any of them, so we're working from there. All right.
It's a real problem.
So I'm going to go ahead and use movement to push my guy out here. I'm going to move him over here, though, so he stays away from your...
You don't want me to just
very upsetting person. No, I don't like that at all. Then I'm going to go ahead and use Vehemence and move him into this adjacent location. And he was not in a forest when he did this. He ended his turn in a mountain hex, but it's fine. It's a 3. We're good to go. I forgot. I didn't move this
rotate
forward,
that.
So that goes this way. There we go. Okay, so
it's inching closer west.
Yep.
It's inching closer west.
I am also going to use this here as a 4. Gargoyle makes him now have 2 for control. So that means I'm not going... Oh, man, you are lined up perfectly. I could hit each and every one of you with one straight line.
If you took a step forward.
If I could take a step forward, but I can't. That is so frustrating.
Go ahead, Wes. Take a step forward.
I would so love to do that, but I just
my boy.
Can't.
You fool.
But I can't use the attack afterwards,
You're weak,
totally
West.
not worth it. But that does mean I now have a control of 2 here, so I fire 1 from there, and control of 2 here, so I fire 1 from there. That gives you 2 points of damage again.
Yeah, it's
Getting
bad
that
news.
damage in early.
I know. Cycling up top here with my ballista first. You got me in a hard position. I could go with anyone first, technically, at this point, right? It's only spawning.
It's only
on
spawning
the
that
board.
matters.
I mean, I want to contest this, but you got me in a real bad spot, West.
That is correct. Controlling these towers is the most important thing.
This is actually a really hard group to counter. Because your angle's bad for me.
Mm-hmm. That is why I built them that way.
Okay. I'm going to step up with
Okay.
Pouring Rain.
Mm-hmm. Now you could steal the thing off of me.
It would give me double control,
It would...
which is fine, but it only matters if I'm going to get my other guy adjacent to it, because then I'll get 3 control there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if I'm just going to stand there.
Yeah, by the way, that came off too. At the beginning of your turn. Just didn't want you to think you could do both again.
I think I will. I will copy that trait. That trait's going to give me 2 control in that location.
Yep.
So I need to step my archer over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Chooses that. And my time bandit here, I think he's going to follow forward to the middle.
Okay.
I don't love it.
So that definitely means that with those 3, you do 1 point of damage to me with a catapult. So that's a very good move.
Yeah, it's
very
not,
good.
It's not a very good move.
Now, unfortunately, this guy goes back to 1, and you still have 3 over there, so it'll be impossible for me to get 2 points on you this time. However, one thing that you did manage to do really, really well was that you put yourself right there. The unfortunate thing is that I still don't have the ability to move myself forward by 1 spot, because I was looking at it so pretty.
You can attack all adjacent.
If I were right there, I could touch all of them and do 1 point of damage to every single one of them. It's so perfectly lined up.
1 more round and my abilities cycle back in.
So perfectly lined up. Man, I just wanted to do it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to move over here with a movement action, and then I'm going to use Howl, which is a cooldown of 4, and all of your people have -1 on all attacks.
Are you all paying attention to how cool and clean this system is?
Yeah, it's really nice.
We're not having to worry about which things are coming back when.
And then... Do I use flight?
Do you?
Yes. So I can't. Alright. I'm going to attack nosedive to him, so he's going to take 1 point of damage.
Okay.
For Aqueous.
That's fine.
It's just not as good as I wanted it to be.
Why do I have swords on all of them? You debuffed me.
Debuffed you. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't have control over this one, but I do have control over this one, so I still do 1 point of damage there. And we're going to call that good for my turn.
Green comes off.
Yep.
I am still controlling that.
Definitely.
I don't have all my stuff back yet. So I'm still not in the best of positions. Oh, I'm going to step in.
I really hate that you're getting all that stuff back next turn.
Actually, I don't even need to step in with that. I'm going to punch your wolf for a damage of 2.
Damage of 2 or damage of 1, because you're debuffed by 1?
Damage of...
So you can do it for one if you want.
Oh, man.
I think that's a
suck.
great idea.
I was going to take your wolf out of the game.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to do that, but you're not going to. That's why I did it that way.
You suck.
I do believe at the beginning of this you told me how bad I was going to...
I'm going to attack you for damage of 1.
Okay.
With him, the archer.
Okay.
I'm going to attack your wolf for a damage of 1.
Okay.
And
how is it a damage of 1 again, just so that the people understand, even though you've been debuffed by 1?
Because I get an attack plus 1 for each of your
things
your
on cooldown.
conditions in cooldown.
Right, and then since I have 2, that would be a damage of 2, but because of the debuff, it's a damage of 1.
Yeah. And then water literally can't hurt anyone.
Unless you're drinking it, then it apparently is very bad for you.
So deadly.
Yeah.
But as long as I stay here, I do still have control of this, and I'm actually going to step over to the side there.
I don't want you to do that.
With my move. And now, I'm going to do 1 damage to you.
Okay.
And this turns. Finally.
I really
Finally.
hate that. I really
refresh.
hate that, for the record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all your debuffs come off. And let's see, what are we going to do here? So, I've got... really did not want you to move. Okay, I'm going to do 1 point of damage to both of those people with my bite.
I hate you. Mm-hmm. 1 to my time, 1 to my ballista, okay?
Yep. And then I'm going to do nosedive again to your Aqueous, so he's going to take another point of damage.
Sure.
And then... Man. I'm going to move him here so that you can't hit him with your stupid guy. And I will call that a good turn, and I will get 1 more again.
It's not... I need to catch up.
You do.
All right.
But you're not that far away. I mean, you're only 2 points off.
I've kept decent pace with you.
You have.
And I just refreshed everything, West.
You did.
So now it's a matter of how we either delay or go ahead and utilize the abilities that we have. Great. So I'm going to start with a Might of the Water. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a refresh on 3. Look how nice the system is.
It's very, very clean.
These were a refresh of 4.
Yep.
They've counted down to 1. This one's now ahead of them. Ah!
It's beautiful.
So
it's
good.
So well done.
So good. Okay, I'm going to move into an adjacent hex and get +1 to my attack.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to go ahead and trigger my attack, dealing 2 damage to your goblin.
Gargoyle?
Yep.
He appreciates to be called
He's
a gargoyle.
Also dead. I then am going to go ahead and utilize... Oh, how could I get there? How could I get there? How could I get 2? How could I get 2 fired off of you at the same time? Is that even possible?
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. I am going to use my timepiece. Tell me if this works.
Okay.
Can I use my timepiece to move these from 1 to 6 and pick them up?
No. Because they'd be moved... I don't think you can make them now.
It's a conditional rule with only my character.
That's an interesting
You see what
question.
I'm saying,
I
though?
see what you're saying.
I think I can. I don't know why I couldn't.
Because you move them back 1... Yeah, I guess.
So, as long as I'm adjacent to the person that I'm targeting, which I am,
Right.
that's why I've stayed in a hive, I go ahead and put this on 3,
Right.
move these to 6.
You don't move both of them because one of them is your own.
I see.
Only move,
I see.
You can only move the water one.
Oh, and I can't target my own.
No.
Could I not?
Does it say you
any
or...
enemy or ally with
No.
at least 1 support, but the range is 0? Am I considered an ally to myself? Probably not.
No.
Probably
it
not.
it would say your name, like mine says Cornubus or whatever.
That was going to be really exciting because I was going to grab grab the time loop and then give him the ability to utilize his ballista twice. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There was good stuff there, West, and you've ruined my plans.
But remember, you can't do the same attack twice.
I wasn't going to.
You can only do move.
I was going to move, then fire it.
Ah, gotcha.
Which I really
wanted to do. I could tell that was really important to you.
So how do I get you out of there? I don't know that. You theorize that I can get both of them? I don't think I can.
I think you just take it where you're at right now. You get your extra point and move on to the next round.
I'm not doing that. We'll go ahead and use a winch. Winch is going to lock into number 4. That's going to be able to push you back.
Totally fair.
Your wolf has 3 health.
He has a total of 3 health.
Okay,
yes.
so we'll use optical sight to go ahead and up. This is going to be a refresh of 4 as well. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to use him to fire. Fire is going to kill the wolf.
Fair. So he goes back on here. We still get 1 point of damage. For the record, you could have just attacked me with that guy, and it would have done 2 points of damage because he had 2 things on cooldown. But I love the fact that you used both of your cooldowns to make that exact same attack happen. But you needed to kill me because I was absolutely going to hit you, all of those people, for 1 point of damage. But I appreciate the way you went about that, showcasing all of the cooldowns that you could possibly use, so that
So I'm
way
gonna
your
work
attack.
that back. I'm just gonna make a hard
I don't
cut
think
here
that's
in the video.
I don't think that's how it works. It's a very, very good move, though. I appreciate all the thought that you put into doing that.
I'm gonna step forward here. Mm-hmm. I am going to go ahead and use my timepiece before I do that on Bestiary. This drops into a 3. It's gonna push his 2 up to a 3 as well. I love them being early in the cycle, especially because I just wasted them.
But you can't do that because you're over here and he's not adjacent to you.
I did it before I moved.
Oh, before you moved. Okay,
Yep.
That's fair.
And that's my turn. We're going to be firing cannon off on you, and I've pulled it back to center.
You've evened it.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to win, but it does mean I'm in this game.
Yeah, you've evened it.
You've got a really interesting puzzle to solve. You
do.
all are so quick. You're quicker than me.
Yep. The problem is that all my stuff, boop, I get all these things back finally.
Oh, what am I getting next? I like that.
So let's see here. How am I going to make this the best option it possibly can be?
You don't? Sorry to say it.
All right, I'm going to use Bat Swarm to move to any adjacent unoccupied hex, which moves me to here.
Leave.
Okay, and then I'm going to do damage to this guy, +1 for every damaged opponent in 2 spaces. There are 2 damaged opponents within 2 spaces of him, so that means I do 2 points of damage. So this guy is dead, doing 1 point of damage to your building up here.
That's the first person you've murdered.
Second person. I did murder one before.
I don't think so.
I did. We can roll the tape back. I'm pretty sure I
I think
did.
he did.
I'm pretty sure I did.
He's weak.
And then, so that was the attack action on this guy, which is nice. And then, all right. I need to figure out a way to get over there and do some damage. We're going to any unoccupied hex in a catapult tower's control area not controlled by enemies that is in a straight line. I can't get in a straight line is the problem.
Straight line thing's frustrating, isn't it?
It's very frustrating.
It's horrible. You must be livid, Wes.
Yes. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to use this ability to get to the tower, which is a cooldown of 4 again, which just leaves myself wide open, but
I love you being
it's
wide
fine.
open.
And then
Might as well just call it.
I pull this guy out.
I mean, just
You think?
stop it now.
Just
Why let the audience see you suffer?
see me suffer so poorly?
Why expose them to that, West?
Yeah.
You tell me that, West. You tell me that, West.
Mm-hmm.
West, you tell me why. Why let them? Why so? Why
Yeah.
so serious? Why so serious?
Okay. I'm going to go here by
Good
moving.
Love you right there. That's. I mean, honestly, it's probably my favorite place where you have gone.
So I'm going to use this to have moved there. But I need to move twice. I need to attack and move.
Sour sucking succotash.
All right, I'm gonna have used this so that I can attack once, which this is a cooldown of 3. There, and then I'm going to attack and do 1 point of damage to Aqueous, which kills him.
Oh, it does. Sadly, it does.
And does 1 point of damage to your tower, and then that is even here.
Did you move the wrong one again?
Yes, I did. Sorry. I'm sure I've done that multiple times at this point. That's why.
You haven't. You haven't done it multiple times.
So there's that one for you. And then I do get to fire another one off here. So that puts you to very close to death.
Yeah.
It's very close, but I'm still very, very open here in a very not so great way.
Only question is not what will become of you, son, but how you will respond when it does become of you. I'm going to move here. I'm going to activate my time loop. My time loop is going to have a refresh cycle of 4. Popping to that location, I'm going to give myself swiftness, which allows me to take a step back and fire my ballista, dealing 2 damage to your vampire.
Which kills him, sending him back here, and 1 point of damage there.
I then get to go ahead and summon in Aqueous. I have fluidity, so I could move and attack. However, that does not seem to be the advantage that I'm looking for. I will just take a sad, lonely step forward. I don't know, man. I'm still 2 cycles away from getting the stuff that I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's my turn.
Okay.
I fire nothing at you.
So Gargoyle gets his Gargoyle back. And you're too far away. Can you guys move faster, please? This is ridiculous.
You want right in my belly there, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I want to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's that one spot.
You just get in there and
It's a motorboat the whole way. All right. Frustrating. So very frustrating. I'm going to move with that. And then I'm going to move with this, but I don't want to be farther away from you. I'm going to attack you, so do 1 point of damage to him, which kills him. Back he goes.
Notice that.
And then I just can't get there with the vampire. That's very frustrating.
You realize, if you could just get to that.
If I could have gotten there. All right, so one more. All right, next round,
man.
Jesse. Next round.
I need that pile of stuff, man.
But you're not going to get it because I'm going to get my howl first, and you will be dead by that end.
I need that pile of stuff so bad.
Mm-hmm. You do.
It's very true. Got nothing else to work with.
And
I mean, I can step in here.
I will say that this game has been very different because we've used like all of our powers as soon as they become available, which wasn't the case in the last round.
Yeah, sometimes you want to pace it. Sometimes you got a timing. Like I think you got your timing mechanism on the towers was slightly ahead of mine, and I haven't been able to counter you.
Yeah.
Which I have theories around what I could have done different. I think if I had my ranger positioned on that mountain slope where I get the advantage on the attack to start with, and I set him there from the very beginning of the game, it would have been harder for you to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the mistake I made where I used my resources instead of
just
taking
hitting me
you
with
out.
a straight shot.
Little things like that, little mathematic things like that.
Makes a difference.
And I love that though because it comes down to the strategy of how you actually use your team.
Yeah.
Which I think is super cool because this let me be very clear. This is not a blowout. This is a close race.
This is a very close game, yeah.
And I'm pissed off about it, is what I'm saying. I'm real angry, and you're embarrassing me on my own channel, West.
Well,
I don't have a good way to counter you. You've stepped out of my line with the ballista.
Yep.
So all I really can do is move forward in that sense.
Yep.
I don't have any of my abilities back. I've already shifted Aqueous over, which is going to ping you for 1. I could copy an ability, but that's not advantageous. And then Tempest is here with Pendulum. Pendulum could do a lot of damage if only I was right next to one of you. Like I could wipe your little stone golem out of the water if I wasn't a space away.
Yeah.
And that would be enough to like tie the tower. Oh, there's so many things that could have been done if that pile of tokens was here
available,
already. I'm going to
yes.
shift you forward. I'm so close to victory, and yet I have a feeling...
Okay, so we're
you could
gonna
end
pick
it
up
right now.
Hal.
You own the last ballista.
Yeah. So basically, it's
Damn
over
it.
right now.
I hate this game. That's what you can use in your quote. Put that on your page.
Damn it, I hate this game.
And then put in quotes after he just lost.
To West, who he gloated about winning all the way for the very beginning.
Seemed to have. Like, here's your quote. Here's your quote for the publisher. If you want to add this to your thing. I hate this game, Quackalope. But then put in quotes. Add in. Seem to really enjoy the 40 minutes. Happen to have lost. That's your quote. There you are.
There you
have
go.
it. You have it. That was fun. We're going to have a preview. I'm sure you all have watched that. If you made it to this point, you just wanted to see the game up and running. You wanted to see how the mechanics worked. You want to see us having a good time. And we have. The more I have played this, the more I've both been frustrated by the strategy of my units and your units, and the more I've wanted to play this.
Oh, yeah.
There's one big glaring negative in this game.
What's that?
The big glaring negative in this game is that to really play this game, knowing all of these,
you have to know all of them. Yeah.
gives you the best experience. And I'll tell you why. They do have the standard kits that you can run with.
Yeah.
And if we set this to the side and we were like, great, head to head with this again, which I might do. I might do another like best out of 3 right now. I am the type of person that wants to learn my unit and wants to learn my unit well against a single enemy.
Sure.
But as soon as I know my unit, guess what I'm doing next?
You're going to want to dive into it.
I want to start subbing. I want to do another set. I want to go through the rule books guidelines, and then I want to craft my own deck.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is one of the big flaws is not because it's actually a flaw, but because if you're going to dive into this game, you're going to get the most out of it by knowing every one of these units, playing against them with your friend time and time again, and refining not only how you enjoy to play your battle unit, but also customizing, swapping someone out, and knowing what your friend might be able to do. That little bit of insight into how their strategy might play out. Like, I knew from the get-go that you were quick, and yet I still had no idea how specific I needed to be to counter your quickness.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right with that. The other thing is that the more you play, the better you're going to be, which makes it more difficult to bring a new person in.
That's any abstract, though.
Yeah,
right?
to
Some
a point.
abstract, any abstract with a degree of depth, I think that distance is based off of how deep an abstract can go.
Right.
And this one is right there. This could be a 1.5 on the BGG heavy scale, and this could be a 3 on the BGG heavy scale. And it all depends on how you approach the game. If you sit down with 6 characters and you're just then playing, get it up and running in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not hard.
If you start diving into that and you start getting into the nuance of all the little min-max decision-making you can do,
good.
That's where the puzzle comes in, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in an abstract. It reminds me of War Chest, and reminds me of War Chest in a really good way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed this gameplay video. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out, play some games. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
What was that?
That was
like the worst outro ever.
What?
It sounded like you were pooping or something.
I'm going to tickle my throat.
Tickling your throat?
Just clearing it, just... Get a constant.
You're constipated? Is that
whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.
I got it right that time.
Thank you.